What if you took a shortcut just to save a little time, and it led you straight into a place where people don't just die, they disappear forever. No signal, no help, just a forest and something watching you. Trust me, after this story, you'll think twice before taking a shortcut. Welcome back to Movie Recaps Hub Podcast, where we dive deep into movies and tell the full story in a chill, easy to follow way. Today's episode is all about the brutal and iconic horror film, Wrong Turn 1 2003. Alright, let's get into it. So today, let's talk about the classic horror movie Wrong Turn, which is considered a true classic in the genre. The appearance of the cannibals in this film always sends chills down your spine. The story begins with a couple climbing a cliff. Rich is moving quickly and soon leaves his girlfriend behind. She isn't very strong physically, and she slips, almost falling. Thankfully, the safety rope prevents her from falling into the abyss. But Rich doesn't really help her. He just asks if she's okay and tells her to hurry up. After saying that, he moves ahead to scout the path. She calls out for Rich to help pull her up. She keeps yelling, but there's no response. And then suddenly Rich appears. But something is off. A drop of blood lands on her face. She freezes. Before she can even process what's happening, Rich's lifeless body is thrown down the cliff. At that exact moment, she feels the safety rope being pulled strongly upward, and she realizes something is up there, something that just killed Rich. If she gets pulled up, she's next. So in a desperate move, she pulls out a knife and cuts the rope. She plans to use Rich's rope to descend, but it's just out of reach. She struggles, loses strength, and falls. By now, Rich is already dead. Then, a loud roar echoes from the woods behind her. She doesn't think. She just runs. She runs toward the road and finally sees a car. It feels like hope. But suddenly, she trips over a preset steel wire. And just like that, hope is gone. Now, the story takes place in a forest in West Virginia, North America. This forest is massive, around 400 million hectares, and very sparsely populated. There's an urban legend about this place. People say that a group of cannibals live in the forest. Because of inbreeding, their genes mutated, causing severe deformities and affecting their mental state. And anyone who enters the forest disappears without a trace. But of course nobody really believes it. Newspapers report missing people, but no one has ever actually seen these cannibals. Or at least, that's what people think. Now we meet Chris, a medical student. He gets a notification for an interview and is told to arrive within 3 hours. Everything is going smoothly, until he hits a traffic jam. There's been an accident ahead. He talks to a truck driver, who tells him that a chemical transport vehicle has overturned, causing the roadblock. No one knows how long it'll take to clear. Chris is in a hurry, so he decides to take a detour using a smaller road. While driving, he calls his company to inform them he might be late, but suddenly, his phone loses signal. After driving for a while, he sees a gas station sign and decides to stop there to use a phone. But when he arrives, it's strange. There are abandoned cars everywhere. The place looks deserted. The owner, an elderly man, is sitting outside drinking something, acting very oddly. Chris tries to use the phone, but it's completely dead. So now, his only option is to find another route. He looks at the map and notices a road marked in red. It looks like a shortcut. After figuring out the route, he thanks the old man and starts to leave. And then the old man says something, "Want to go? Take care." It sounds simple, but also kind of unsettling. Soon after, Chris reaches a fork in the road. One path goes straight, the other turns. Relying on his memory, he chooses the winding road. This road is narrow, quiet to quiet. Then he notices something disturbing. An animal carcass on the side of the road. Something feels wrong, and before he can even process it, he crashes into a car parked in the middle of the road. Luckily, he's not hurt. A group of people comes over to check on him. Chris explains that he didn't see their car because he was distracted. But something doesn't add up. Why is their car parked in the middle of the road? They explain that a wire on the ground punctured their tires. Then Jesse notices that one end of the wire is tied to a tree, which means someone set a trap. But right now, survival is more important. They need to get out of there. Jesse suggests finding a gas station nearby to call for help. Chris tells them he just came from one, but there was no signal, so they decide to move forward together. Evan and Francine stay behind to watch the cars, And honestly, they plan to take advantage of the situation to get intimate. But what they don't know is that something in the woods is watching them. Meanwhile, the others continue walking. Kari and Scott, who are behind the group, are chatting. They're about to get engaged, and they're planning a beach vacation. It's a normal conversation, in a place that is anything but normal. As they walk, Scott notices a campfire. Chris immediately realizes someone must be nearby. Now we cut back to Evan and Francine. They're searching the cars for food. Suddenly, Evan hears something in the woods. He decides to go check it out alone. Francine calls out to him, but there's no response. Something feels wrong, so she gets out of the car and goes after him. After searching for a while, she finds only a shoe. Then she sees something even worse. An ear on the ground. And from the earring, she realizes it belongs to Evan. She steps back in horror. And then suddenly, a mysterious figure appears, stuffs wire into her mouth, and strangles her. Meanwhile, back with the group, Scott notices that Carly is gone. But it turns out she was just playing a prank. As they continue walking, they come across a small cabin in the woods. There's white smoke coming from the chimney, so someone must be living there. But the abandoned cars around it make Jesse uneasy. Chris thinks there might be a phone inside, which means this could be their only chance. He calls out loudly. No response. At that moment, Carly says she needs to use the bathroom, so they decide to break into the cabin, and what they find inside is horrifying. Rotting food all over the table. A vinyl record spinning endlessly. Walls covered with weapons. Jesse finds a collection of car keys, way too many, which means they're not the first people to come here. Scott searches for a bathroom for Carly and opens a door. Inside, there are children's toys. A music box. The room feels strangely cozy, completely out of place. Meanwhile, Chris pulls out a large, blackened bone from a pot in the kitchen. Jesse checks the tool shed and finds piles of barbed wire. The entire place feels suffocating. And then Carly, who is in the bathroom, discovers a bloody hand in the bathtub. She screams and runs. And at that moment, everything clicks. They've walked into a trap. There's no escape. Just as they're about to leave, they hear an engine outside. They look out the window. A yellow truck. And it's towing their car. Now they're trapped. With no way out, they hide. Chris and Jesse hide under the bed. The cannibals enter the cabin. They drag Francine's body inside. Chris and Jesse don't even breathe. The cannibal places the body on the table, takes out a chainsaw, and begins to dismember it. At one point, he drops a bullet under the bed. It almost gives them away. Meanwhile, Carly and Scott are hiding and witnessing everything. After the cannibals finish eating, they fall asleep. This is their only chance. Chris slowly leads everyone out. But the door creaks loudly, so Chris holds it to stop the noise while the others leave. Just as he's about to escape, the cannibal wakes up and sees him. They run. The chase begins. The cannibals pursue them in the truck. They reach a field filled with abandoned cars, many covered in blood. So many people have died here. Now they finally see the cannibals clearly. 3 of them, Sawtooth, the leader, holding weapons, One Eye wearing a red shirt, and Three Finger, the youngest. Chris comes up with a plan. One person distracts them, the others escape. Without hesitation, Chris volunteers. He runs. Sawtooth hears him and shoots. The bullet hits Chris in the thigh. Scott runs out to help. He runs as fast as he can, dodging shots. But Sawtooth is experienced. He takes out a bow and shoots Scott. Carly watches as Scott dies in front of her. They don't even have time to process it. They run. They get into the truck. But when they open the door, Evan's body falls out. Still, they have to go. They drive, trying to save Scott. But it's too late. Scott is taken by the cannibals. Carly is devastated. Jesse tries to comfort her, but suddenly, a tree blocks the road. The truck gets stuck in mud. They abandon it and continue on foot. Carly breaks down. She doesn't want to go anymore. Jesse tells her Scott sacrificed himself. They have to survive or it was all for nothing. Eventually, Carly agrees. They keep moving. Then they see a WATCHTOWER.hope. They climb it. Inside, they find supplies. A medical kit for Chris, a glow stick for light, and a radio. They try calling for help. No response. Then suddenly, the radio comes alive. The police respond. But at the same time, Chris sees a cannibal below the tower. They try to hide the light. But it's too late. The cannibals know. They block the entrance. But then smoke starts filling the tower. The cannibals set it on fire. Carly panics. She wants to jump. But Chris has an idea. Jump to a nearby tree. It's their only chance. Chris jumps first. He makes it. Carly jumps next. She almost falls, but Chris catches her. Jesse jumps too, but the noise alerts the cannibals. They shoot arrows. They send Three Finger up the tree. Chris tells them to move across the branches. It's risky, but they have no choice. Chris and Jesse make it, but Carly, she doesn't. Three Finger catches her, and kills her. Now it's just Chris and Jesse. The cannibals chase them through the trees. Chris realizes they know the terrain better, so he makes a plan. One distracts, one attacks. Jesse volunteers. She risks herself. They execute the plan. They injure Three Finger. Meanwhile, they hide in a cave. Jesse opens up about her breakup. Her friends brought her here to cheer her up. She feels guilty. Chris comforts her. They rest. Next morning, they leave. They find a road, but suddenly, an axe is thrown at them. They dodge. Sawtooth attacks. Chris fights back, but he's overpowered. Jesse is captured. Chris falls down the mountain, barely alive. He reaches the bottom, finds a police officer, but Sawtooth is coming. Chris hides under the car. Sawtooth kills the officer, puts him in the trunk. Drives away. Chris holds onto the car and follows. Back to the cabin. Inside, Jesse is tied up. Chris crashes the police car into the cabin. Chaos. Fire everywhere. Chris fights. Jesse kills Sawtooth with an arrow, but Three Finger appears, knocks Chris down. Jesse fights back. Chris strangles him with wire. Jesse attacks with an axe, but they're still alive. And One Eye is waking up. Chris has one bullet left. He shoots the fuel tank. Explosion. They escape. They take the cannibal's truck, drive away, reach the gas station. The old man sees them and shuts the door. Chris grabs the map. They leave. They survive. Later that night, another officer arrives at the cabin. He walks inside, and then a dark figure appears behind him. And that's where the story ends. And yeah, that's Wrong Turn 1 2003. A brutal, intense, and honestly terrifying ride from start to finish. If you enjoyed this full recap, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to Movie Recaps Hub podcast for more stories like this. Let me know, would you ever take a shortcut like Chris did? I'll see you in the next one.